Dear students, earlier you would have seen the video part 1 of 2 of this particular series of 2 videos on the ground-to-ground projectile motion in the chapter motion along a plane. Now we are now taking up the part 2 of this two-part videos on the ground-to-ground projectile. Earlier in the part 1 you would have seen the standard formulas derivation. There are 4 standard formulas as you know: time of flight, um, uh, range, horizontal range, maximum height reach, plus the path equation, parabola equation. Now we are going to continue in this particular part 2 video. We are going to continue with the standard concepts. What are the standard concepts involved in the ground projectile, which will be applicable for problem solving. Plus also then we will follow up with practicing a lot of questions, lot of past asked questions, and therefore now that will be quite useful to you. Also we will give you a list of past asked questions which you can use for your own practice. Okay, with this now we'll go on to the topic. So then we had seen, just to revise what we have done, we had seen the standard formulas involved in the ground-to-ground projectile. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 formulas. First formula is time of flight, T, capital T, given by 2u sin theta by g. Now this formula gives the relations connecting u, theta and time of flight T. Then in a given problem any two values will be given and the third value will be asked. Okay, simple formula, substitution of the data given. Usually u and theta are given and then t is asked. Then the next formula which you have seen is the maximum height reached. That means now this is the height which is, suppose projectile is going like this, then this maximum height reached formula h is given by u square sin square theta by 2g. And here also there are three variables u, theta and h. Any two will be given and the third asked, and the usual question will be giving u and theta and then h will be asked. Then the third formula which you have studied is the horizontal range, which is now the ground to ground distance where it has fallen. Therefore this distance is horizontal range, r, which is given by u squared sin 2 theta by g. Here also there are three variables which are linked by the formula u, theta and then range r. Any two values given and the third asked, and the usually u and theta given and r is asked. These are the three basic formulas which you'll have to definitely remember and memorize and then use it. Then many questions, most of the questions, especially with the NEET level, will be only like this, straightforward asking based on this formula substitution. Then sometime other than this formula there will be a certain amount of special questions which will be asked, which will be rare for the NEET. Whereas JEE Main also will be usually at least about 1/3 of the questions which is coming in this chapter ground to ground projectile will be substituting the data given into the formulas and then answering straightforward only. Sometimes there will be different, which of course we will now see about what are the other types of formulas, other types of calculation based kind of questions which will come. We will see all those things slightly later. Right now we are just working on, we will also see some examples about the past asked question based on the straightforward application of the formula. Then as I said, now the fourth standard formula is called the trajectory equation or the path equation, parabola equation. X and y are the instantaneous coordinates of the projectile, like this. Now this is the origin is this point. This is the x-axis horizontal, y-axis vertical. Then at any instant, this particular point where projectile is has got the coordinate x comma y, and then this formula links x, y, and then u and theta like this. There are 4 variables which are linked in this formula. Therefore, any 3 variable value data will be given, and the force has to be found out. Usually u will be given, theta given, and then x will be given, and then y. What is the height from the ground at that particular point of time by the projectile will be the kind of question which will be asked. Therefore, this is the 4 standard formula which you have seen. Now, before we see the examples of the past asked question based on the formulas, we will also just revise what are some of the basic standard concepts which you will have to remember, because questions also will come based on this standard concept. What are the standard concepts? First, of course, is at the maximum height, what is the velocity of the particle? We should not answer 0. See, like this now. Suppose you are throwing a stone vertically upward from the ground, then at the highest point velocity equal to 0. Whereas you are not throwing vertically upward, that theta is now 90 degrees, theta is oblique at an angle u, and then at an angle theta. Therefore, now at the topmost point, velocity is not equal to 0. Velocity is still going to be horizontal component of velocity will be continuously be present. That means u cos theta is the velocity at the topmost point of the projectile is the answer which you will have to remember, because simple question will be asked based on this, especially at the NEET. Then the second simple concept is on reaching the ground, what is the velocity? Suppose now it's now reaching the ground here. Therefore, then what is the velocity at the time just before reaching the ground is the same velocity as what was projected u, that is the speed. Whereas now direction will be, instead of like this, it will be like this. That means suppose now this now u, we'll have to answer v equal to u when it is about to reach at an angle theta which is same as the projection angle theta, and the theta like this. Okay, therefore now the vector initial velocity vector is like this, final velocity vector is like this. So then this point we'll have to know about it. Then the third standard concept is, for same range, two angles of projection theta and 90 minus theta both gives the same range r. Okay, like this now, as I have seen. Now, suppose now for the same initial speed u, you can project like this or like this, both will fall at the same point on the ground. That the range is going to be same for both. One is theta mean, other is 90 minus theta. How it is? You just see the range formula. R is given by u squared sine 2 theta by g. Therefore, for an angle theta, it is given by u squared sine 2 theta by g. And for a so-called complementary angle, if theta is 90 minus theta also you put, then 2 theta now become 2 into 90 minus theta is 180 minus 2 theta. Sine 180 minus 2 theta, we know trigonometrically, is also equal to sine 2 theta. Therefore, both theta projection angle as well as 90 minus theta projection angle gives the same value of sine 2 theta. Therefore, range is going to be same. That is what it is. For example, suppose we are projecting with a particular speed u at an angle 20 degrees theta and also 70 degrees theta, both will fall at the same point, both will give the same range, is what this particular concept is. Now, other way of saying it is, okay, then the next question is, for the maximum value of range, what should be the angle of projection? Because for maximum value of range mean, we want the sine 2 theta to be the highest value. What is the highest value for sine 2 theta? 1. That is, sine of an angle can take a maximum value of 1. Which means now sine 2 theta is 1 means when it will take 1? It will take when the 2 theta equal to 90 degrees or theta equal to 45 degrees. Therefore, if for the same initial velocity of projection u, you get the maximum range like this only when the projection angle is theta equal to 45 degrees. Therefore, this 45 degrees gives you maximum range. Less than 45 also falls earlier. More than 45 also falls earlier. This is now, let us say now 30 degrees. then this angle 60 degree also will follow the same planes. Whereas 45 degree will give the maximum range R, because sine of 2 into 45, that is sine 90, is the maximum value 1. Therefore, then what is the maximum range possible? R max. R max will be given by when theta equal to 45. Sine 2 theta is 90 degree mean. Then R max, maximum range R will be given by U squared by G. Therefore, this is the maximum range possible. Therefore, now any two values of the theta, whether it is theta or 90 minus theta, these are called complementary angles. That means, let us say now 30 degrees and 60 degrees, 25 degrees and then 65 degrees. Both will give the same value of range R, something like this. Therefore, like this. This also gives now 65 degrees, this now 25 degrees. Or 30 degrees will also give, 60 degrees also will give, whereas 45 degree will give the longest R. So then this is the concept which is involved here. You can also be put as, therefore then suppose now 45 is going to give the highest value, then 45 minus some particular angle alpha and 45 plus some angle, the same angle alpha, both will give the same range. That means when the projection angle is equally inclined to the maximum angle 45 degrees, 45 minus theta and then 45 plus theta will give the same range R, which is less than what the R max is. That is a concept which is involved here. Understood? Okay, fine. By the way, whereas now when the two values of theta will like theta and 90 minus theta gives the same range R, whereas one of them has got a lower H max, other is higher H max, that is H1 and H2. And why is it? Because now the lower value of theta will give you sine theta is lower mean, then by means of the H formula, now sine squared theta also will be the lesser than if it is 90 minus theta, if it is now higher value of theta. Like for example, now a 30 degree projection is going to be like this mean, 60 degree projection is going to be like this. Then what happens? Sine of 30 will be, the time of flight also will be very similar based on sine theta. Therefore, sine 30 will be smaller, whereas sine 60 will be larger. Therefore, now the time of flight is given by this particular angle theta, whereas now time of flight for this particular projection of 60 degree also will be given by this angle theta of 60 degree. Therefore, sine 60 will be more than sine 30. Therefore, time of flight T2 for 60 will be more than T1. This can be seen by means of the height also is lesser. H1 is sine squared 30 times, whereas H2 is sine squared 60 times the same value U squared by 2G. Therefore, H1 will be less than H2, T1 will be less than T2, whereas R will be same, R1 will be equal to R2 for both cases. Therefore, that also is another concept based on which very frequently questions come, both in the NEET as well as in JEE Main. That also is a point we must realize. That is, T1 and T2 and H1 and H2 will be different for the same U, whereas R will be same for both if theta and 90 minus theta are the two projection angles. Therefore, that point also should be borne in mind. Okay, now we will now practice some of the past asked questions both in NEET as well as JEE Main based on this simple standard formula, direct substitution kind of questions, plus also on the standard concept, theoretical questions. That also we will now see. And for your practice, we had given you the PDF file. Okay, in the PDF file I have given you the numbers, question numbers, both from the past asked NEET as well as the JEE Main. And then for your practice, you can take the PDF file and then try and work out these questions. This question number what I have given from the PDF file, you can practice it, and then some of them we will now do the practice here in this particular session, and then balance ones you can do on your own based on the PDF file which I have given. All are past answer questions and all are based on the simple standard formula which I have given, as well as the standard concepts. Okay, we will now start practicing a few of these questions. Take the first question, question number 2, asked in NEET 2023. Simple question only, study it, and then I'll show you how to solve it. If you are unable to solve it, make a pause on this video and then try on your own, and then after solving you just go through how I am solving it also. Very simple only. There were most of the questions I'll not be solving it because I'll be directly substituting in the formula and then leaving you to complete it if you want it. In fact, I would say that most of the questions you don't have to actually work out the arithmetics, because once you know, because as I say, especially these are no standard formulas. Therefore, simply putting the data, you'll get the answer. Don't have to actually waste time try to work it out. Arithmetic, mathematics, you can do it much later because this is only simple mathematics. Just go through what should be the method of solving it, and then as I told you that all these, most of them or all these questions what we are going to now practice in this particular session is based on a standard formula as well as standard concept based theoretical questions. You don't have to work out the full detail. You can save your time and just go through how you mentally decide how you are going, what is the method to solve the problem, and then go to the next problem. That way speaking, you can cover most of the questions. And also, as I said, because I have given you the PDF file, you can go through the PDF file and then work out the question number what I suggested. Therefore, you can have a practice. I would rather suggest that for this kind of questions, don't have to waste time working over the mathematics, working over the detailed answer. You don't have to work it out, and then you simply decide how you are going to solve it, and then tick and then go to the next question, and then once in a while you can actually work it out just to check your confidence level, how you are getting the correct answer. Therefore, once in a while, let us say now on an average you can just take about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 questions for detailedly arriving at the answer, and then check against the options given. Okay, having said that, we will just now go through this question first. What is the question? A bullet is fired from a gun at the speed of 280 meters per second in the direction of 30 degrees above horizontal. That means u is given as 280 and then theta is given as 30. Then what is asked is maximum height, h. Therefore, h formula you take, u is given, theta is given, that's all you require. Then u squared sine squared theta by 2g is a formula. U is given 280 and theta given 30. Put it and then you get your answer, how you are going to do it. Okay, simple formula based. Just put the data and get the standard formula answer h. Then go to the next one. A ball is projected with the velocity 10, that is u equal to 10 at an angle 60, theta equal to 60. U is given, theta is given. Then the only thing is at an angle 30 with the vertical direction, which means this is now 30. So this is now 60. Therefore, this angle is what our theta in the formula is 30 we must put. Okay, be careful, just read it correctly fully and don't make this kind of silly mistake. What theta they are given is not our theta from the formula. They are given this angle as 60. That means we should put theta equal to 30 degree in our formula because they are 60 with the vertical direction. Therefore, you should be careful. You should not miss out any kind of a twist like this. Therefore, then what is the speed at the? What the question is? What is the speed at the highest point of the trajectory? Therefore, this is now going to projectile here. They are asking what is u cos theta. Theta is equal to 30. You must put u is given. Straightforward formula. U cos theta is the answer at the highest point. You must be careful. You should not make a mistake of saying the answer is now 0. Okay, because for a oblique projectile projected at an angle theta, which is less than 90 degrees, That not vertically upward. Only when it is vertically upward throwing, then at the highest point, its velocity will be equal to 0. For an angle theta less than 90 degrees, it will take a curved path like this. We know at the highest point, it will still have the horizontal velocity component, which is u cos theta. You must know this again and again because not make a simple beginner's mistake. Okay, go to the next one. Question number 43. A missile is fired for a maximum range with an initial velocity of u equal to 20 is given, and then g of course is given data at 10. Then the range of missile is now r max you know is theta 45 degrees. Therefore the formula is u squared by g. U squared by g is the formula. You have to put it now. Okay, check up the answer. U squared is 400 by g 10 is 40 is the answer. Next question. Angles of projection of projectile 45 minus theta 45 plus theta. That means the two angle complementary angles. Then the range will be same. Therefore, we know it also for the same u value. That means now what the horizontal range described by the or in the ratio of naturally answer is 1:1 because range will be same. Next question. Velocity of projectile at the initial point A is 2i cap plus 3j cap. That means this is no horizontal. The horizontal velocity is 2, and the vertical velocity that u sin theta is 3. That's what is already given. And velocity at the point B. At the point B means it will be like this, no? Point B, it is same as u in terms of speed, but magnitude, whereas direction will be instead of this, it will be like this. Therefore, this now 2i cap plus 3j cap is the initial value. 2 is ux, and then this is uy is, therefore now is going to become, now 3 is down, therefore minus 3j cap, and then 2i cap will remain, horizontal velocity will remain as it, therefore 2i cap and 3j cap is the answer. You have to tick. Good. Next question. Coordinates of a particle r moving in the xy plane are given by x equal to 2 plus 4t, and then y equal to 3t plus 8t squared. Okay, now this is now at any instant the coordinate of the projectile is given like this. So we know that if we draw the x versus y, vertical direction of y, then the projectile takes a path like this. Now at any point, this coordinate is x comma y. Now they are giving this x as a variable with reference to time t, because t equal to 0 gets projected. Therefore it is given as x equal to 2 plus 4t. That means at t equal to 0, when you put it, x is not 0, x equal to 2. That means this projection point is not origin, the 0 is somewhere here, whereas this point is 2 comma 0. Okay, that's the meaning of y is now 0 because y is now having at t equals 0 you put it, y equals 0. That means initial point of projection is 2 comma 0. That's the meaning of this particular constant 2 for this x coordinate. Understand? Therefore don't think that always you must project only from the origin. Not necessary. You can project from any particular point, whereas now and therefore now the coordinate at any time t is given by this means then it projected from the constant x equal to 2 comma y equal to 0. Okay, 0 point projected. Okay, fine. Now let it be. Therefore then this is x equal to 2 plus 4t, y equal to 3t plus 8t square. Obviously you know from this just conforming to your known ut plus half at square, half at squared format, which means now the vertical projection velocity, initial velocity is 3, whereas now it is plus 8t square. That actually gives you the acceleration along the vertical direction. Okay, you don't have to bother about it. Let's see what they are asking. Now this means now then the motion of the particle is uniformly accelerated having motion along the parabolic path. Okay, now can you just now write down this which is Vx at any time is given by dx by dt. Okay, that's a concept. What is dx by dt? 4. That means 4 meters per second is the velocity, which is constant, which means it's now having initial velocity component Vx, which is equal to ux is equal to 4. And then what about Vy? Vy is given by dy by dt. Differentiate this y equal to 3t plus 8t squared. You are getting it as 3 plus 24t. Okay, this is now conforming into something like u sine theta is the vertical component. Okay, is going to be 3. Therefore, now what is the initial velocity? U is given by 2i cap plus 3j cap. That is obvious from this particular 3. And then what is the acceleration? Acceleration is along x direction. Now there is no acceleration because it is now becoming constant 4. Therefore, acceleration goes to 0i cap. Then whatever acceleration is given by this, because this is u plus at format. But the acceleration along the y direction is 24. Understand? No, not 24, 16, correct? Why? Because 8t squared. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not 24t because we are differentiate dy by dt is given by 3 plus 16t. Therefore, acceleration is 16j cap. Therefore, then what is this? This actually shows it is uniform acceleration. Acceleration is not dependent upon t. Acceleration is constant 16 along the vertical direction. Therefore, this actually says u vector is equal to ux I cap plus uy j cap, where ux I cap is how much? 4 I cap plus 3j cap. What about acceleration? This ax I cap plus ay j cap is a vector which is given by 0 I cap plus 16j cap. Therefore, uniformly accelerated motion. Therefore, obviously now it will be a parabola. Okay, parabolic path, because anything which is a two-dimensional constant acceleration motion will always be a parabola. Right? Now only thing is now the parabola. In fact, suppose somebody asks you what is the shape of the parabolic path. This now starting point is 2, 0 x y, whereas now along the y direction it is getting increasing because acceleration is not retardation. G is not vertically down, it is now acceleration vertically upwards because plus 16. Therefore, this is going to curve like this. Right? This is a parabola path. This is given, any point is given by x, y. And for x value, this is given by this 2t. And the y value given by 3t. No, not 2t, 4t, correct? Yeah, x is given by 2 plus 4t, therefore 4t. 4t, and then y value is given by 3t plus 8t squared. Okay, this is what is the curve. Therefore, the curve shape is going to be upward, concave upwards. Okay. Anyway, now that's not what is asked in this question. Question is a simple question asking you to tick which type of motion it is. This is what it is. Understand it. Okay, fine. Now we'll go to the next question then. The maximum height. Read the next question, question number 100. The maximum height reached by a projectile is 64 meters. If the initial velocity is halved, then the new maximum height of the projectile is. So the height formula h equal to u squared. Therefore, it is proportional to u squared. Now, if the initial velocity is halved, means it will become 1/4. Therefore, instead of 64 meter, it will be 16 meters. Answer. Right? Fine. Then go to question number 104. Two objects are projected with the same velocity u, however, at different angles alpha and beta, such that alpha plus beta is 90 degrees. That means complementary. That means that now the range will be equal. Okay, because the same velocity u, range will be equal. That means 1:1. What is the ratio of the horizontal range of the first object to second object? 1:1. Next question. 105. Stone is projected at an angle 30 to horizontal. The ratio of the kinetic energy of the stone at the point of projection to its kinetic energy at the highest point. At the point of projection, kinetic energy proportional to u squared, half m u squared. Then at the highest point it will be half m u cos theta ka whole square. That means u squared cos squared theta. Now theta is given as 30 degrees. Therefore, cos theta is cos 30 equal to √3/2. Then cos squared theta is 3/4. Therefore, now the ratio of this will be u squared is to u squared cos squared theta will be equal to 1:3/4. That means 3:4. No. Now they are asking u squared is u squared cos squared theta. That means 1:3/4. Therefore, what this ratio is 4:3. Next question. Question number 107. Initial speed of projectile fired from the ground is u. At the highest point during motion, the speed of projectile is √3/2. That means u cos theta is equal to √3/2 u. That means cos theta is √3/2. That means theta equal to 30 degrees. Then the time of flight will be 2u sin theta by g, no? Therefore, then sin 30 will be equal to half. Therefore, now u sin theta, u by 2g. Therefore, sin theta will be equal to half. Therefore, time of flight is given a formula 2u sin theta by g. 2u into half by g. That means u by g. U by g is the answer. Understood how we got? I'll just repeat. Now at the highest point it is given as √3/2 u. The u is initial velocity. The √3/2 u means u cos theta is √3/2. Cos theta is √3/2. That means what? Theta equals 30 degrees. Then the time of flight formula is 2u sin theta by g. Therefore, 2u into sin 30 by g. Sin 30 is half. Therefore, 2u into half by g is equal to u by g. Understood? Okay, next question. Now, two bodies are projected from ground with the same speeds 40 meters per second at two different angles with respect to horizontal. The bodies were found to have the same range. That means one is theta, other is 90 minus theta. One body projected at an angle 60, the other body has to be projected at an angle 30. Horizontal, then the sum of maximum height attained by, now we come to this. Okay, therefore, then what you will do? H1 equal to u squared sin squared 60 by g. Other this thing is u squared cos squared 60 by g. Therefore, then what is now the total? Sin squared 60 plus cos squared 60. Why cos squared 60? Because sin squared of 90 minus 60, which is sin squared 30. Therefore, sin squared 30 is cos squared 60. Okay, either way, or you can keep it as it is now. One is sin squared 60, other is sin squared 30, or you can put a cos squared 30. It doesn't matter whichever you choose. Whereas now the sum of the maximum height, the h1 plus h2 is what they are asking is u squared by 2g multiplied by sin squared 60 plus cos squared 60, which is equal to 1. Therefore, final answer is u squared by 2g. What is u squared? 40 squared is 1600 by 2g is 20. Therefore, equal to 800. Correct? No? Yeah. 40 squared by 2g equal to 800. Next question. Question 137. A player kicks a football with the initial speed of 25. Angle the u equal to 25, theta equal to 45. What is the maximum height formula? You know. And the time taken formula? You know. Simple question. Okay, standard formula. Next question. Question 114. Fighter jet is flying horizontally at a certain altitude with the speed of 200 meters per second. When it passes directly overhead an anti-aircraft gun, bullet is fired from the gun at an angle theta with the horizontal to hit the jet. If the bullet speed is 400 meters per second, then the value of theta will be. Okay, now this is a concept question, you must be careful. Now let me just now draw it. This is the ground. Therefore, this now the plane is flying, okay. Fighter jet is flying here. Is horizontally at a speed of u equal to, this is speed equal to 200 meters per second. Horizontally it is going. Now there is anti-aircraft gun fires the bullet when they just overhead. That means at this particular point of time it is firing a bullet. Bullet speed is 400 meter per second at an angle theta, such that when this bullet is going like this and then hits the aircraft jet, right? Therefore, when it's got a hit mean, then the horizontal velocity of the bullet is going to be 400 cos theta. Therefore, when it hits means whatever by the time of hitting, then the horizontal distance x covered, this is x which is covered in that time should be same as what should be the distance covered by the aircraft, which means now 400 cos theta speed should actually match with, should be equal to 200, which means theta equal to 60 degrees because cos theta half. Therefore, answer is 60 degrees. Understood this? We are saying that the velocity, horizontal component of velocity should be E is uniform, E is given by 400 cos theta. Therefore, this should be same as the fighter jet horizontal uniform velocity 200, so that it will hit it at some particular height at some particular point of time. Doesn't matter about when it hits, as long as now the two horizontal velocity should be able to match, so that they cover the same x distance within the same time. That means it should also be equal to 200 meters per second. Therefore, theta is 60 degrees. Understood how it is done? Okay, go to the next question. Okay, go next question, question number 119. A person can throw a ball up to a maximum range of 100 meters, that is R max equal to 100. How high above the ground he can throw the same ball? That is, we have to assume here now the u value is going to be same for both the cases. Therefore, case 1, when he can attain R max equal to 100 meters, then what is the R max formula is u squared by g. U squared by g equal to 100. Then when you throw vertically upwards, you will get the maximum height. Why? Because what is maximum height formula for a projectile? U squared sin squared theta by g. Therefore, sin squared theta can be maximum only if theta equal 90 degrees. That means now the thing is like this. Now this is now the ground. If we can throw at 45 degrees, it can go up to 100 meters. Suppose with the same speed, if we can throw vertically upward, then it will go the maximum height h will be equal to u squared by 2g formula. That is u squared by g equal to 100. What is u squared by 2g if it goes maximum height and then comes like this? Because as I said, now any projectile now with the same u, it will go like this if it is at an angle. Then increase the angle. Then it will go like this. Then increase the angle, then it will go like, increase the angle, then it will go like this. increase angle to 90 degrees, then it will go the highest. Right? No, therefore that is what I am saying is now. Therefore u squared by g r max equal to 100 is given. What is u squared by 2g, which is h max, equal to how much? 50 is the answer. Understood? Okay, next question. 135. Ranges and heights of two projectiles with the same initial velocity at angle 42 and 48. 42, 48 is theta and 90 minus theta. Therefore, same range it should have. The R1 must be equal to R2. Whereas now the higher theta means higher sine theta, higher sine squared theta. Therefore, 48 fellow will have H2 more than H1. Therefore, you can choose what is the H2 more than H1, R1 equal to R2. Next question. Two guns A and B can fire bullets at speeds 1 km per second and 2 km per second. Then, from a point on the horizontal ground, they are fired in all possible directions. Then the ratio of maximum areas covered by the bullets fired by the two guns on the ground. Okay, imagine. Now this question is quite interesting because it will be often you may come across this, especially about a lawn, about watering a lawn. Then you have what is known as a water sprinkler on the lawn, which will fire at the same velocity stream of water, but then the angle theta will keep on changing, as well as the sprinkler also will rotate so that it covers a circular area on the lawn. Now, such kind of a case, what happens is, now this now the ground, this now u, then the theta will be varied, therefore it will fall here. Maximum, what is maximum range you will get only at 45 degrees. R max. Okay, what is R max is given by u squared by g. R max, correct? No. If R max is the area on the ground, therefore now the circle will be having a radius equal to R max. If radius of the circle is R max on the ground, therefore what is now the total area on the ground wetted by the lawn sprinkler? In this case, it is now a bullet is being fired. Okay, doesn't matter whichever is the object which is getting fired. Ultimately, what they are asking is, what is the area on the ground, that is circle area of radius equal to R max. R max is u squared by g. Therefore, then what is pi into radius squared? Radius squared is u power 4 by g squared. Pi into u power 4 by g squared is the area which is covered on the ground. Therefore, answer must be equal to, now it's like this now. Now there are now two kinds of guns like this. One is having a u equal to 1 km per second. Other is having a u equal to 2 km per second. What is now the ratio proportional to u power 4? Therefore, it is 1 is to 2 power 4, which is equal to 1 is to 16. Therefore, answer is this. Understood? So then such question you will come across very often, especially as I said about the lawn sprinkler. Therefore, now the area on the ground covered, if the sprinkler is rotating in all directions, as well as it can fire the stream of water at all angles theta, then the maximum radius will be R max will be equal to, when theta equal to 45 degrees, that means R max is equal to u squared by g formula. Therefore, then the area of the square is with the radius equal to u squared by g formula is equal to u power 4 pi into u power 4 by g squared. Okay, then go to the next question. 169. The projectile is given an initial velocity I plus 2 j cap. That means now this horizontal component of this is u at an angle theta, horizontal component equal to 1 because I cap, and then vertical component is 2, okay, meter per second, where I is ground and along ground, and then j is along vertical, g equal to 10. Then what is the equation of the trajectory? The equation of the trajectory is given by, we know the formula, fourth formula, standard formula, y is equal to x tan theta minus half of g x squared by u squared cos squared theta. Now therefore now is equal to y equal to x into what is tan theta? What tan theta is uy divided by ux tan theta, correct? No, this is 1, this is 2, therefore this angle tan theta equal 2 by 1. 2 by 1 is 2 minus half g is 5 into x squared by what is the horizontal velocity u cos theta 1, therefore 1 squared is 1. Therefore, y equal to 2x minus 5x squared is the equation. Understood? Go to the next question. Question 172. A boy can throw a stone up to a maximum height of 10 meters. Then the R max is how much? Okay, with the same u we have to assume. Therefore, it is given as u squared by 2g is maximum height when it is vertically thrown upwards, theta 90 degrees. This is given as 10. Then the R max is u squared by g must be equal to 20 is the answer. Next question. Water fountain on the ground sprinkles water all around. If the speed of water coming is v, then the total area around the fountain that gets wet is, as we said now the R max is R max is equal to v squared by g. Therefore pi r squared, therefore the answer area is pi into radius squared is v power 4 by g squared. Pi v power 4 by g squared. Option A. Okay. Next question. Question 174. A projectile can have the same range of two angles. If T1 and T2 are time of flights, then the product of two time of flights is direct proportional to. Therefore, we know now the time of flight is now 2u sin theta by g. Then this is equal to T1. And then T2 will be 2u cos theta by g because 90 minus theta. 2u cos theta by g. What is the product is now giving us u squared sin 2 theta by g squared into 2. Therefore, this should be equal to 2 into r by g. Correct? No? Therefore, now any case it says proportional to r. Okay. Next question 175. A ball is thrown from a point on the ground with a speed v0 at an elevation angle of theta. From the same point at the same time, a person starts running with a constant speed v0 by 2 to catch the ball. Will the person be able to catch the ball? If so, what should be the angular projection? This is now same as what we saw about a fighter plane flying at a height, and then an anti-aircraft gun is firing a bullet, and therefore the horizontal component of the projectile must be same as the fighter plane at a height. This is now very similar to this. Now it says a ball is thrown. This is v0 at an angle theta. Therefore, this goes like this. Then at the same time, a person is running on the ground to catch it. Okay. Now, what should be now the speed is v0 by 2. That means now both the horizontal component of this projectile as well as the horizontal velocity of the person should match so that he should be able to catch it whenever it falls. That means now this particular velocity v0 by 2 should be equal to v0 cos theta must be equal to v0 by 2. That means theta should be equal to 60 degrees is the answer. Okay, yes, we can catch it provided angle of throwing is 60 degrees. Next question. A boy playing on the roof of a 10-meter high building throws a ball with a speed of 10 meters per second. This is now ground, this is now a building 10 meters high. From here a boy is throwing a ball with a speed of 10 meters per second at an angle 30 degrees from this. Therefore, projectile is going to take a shape like this and then come down. Fine enough. What they are asking. Then how far from the throwing point? This now the throwing point is here. This is now the throwing point is here. From this point, how far is the throwing point with the ball be at a height of 10 meters from ground? That means when it is like this also is 10-meter, mean it is now same height as the thing. They are asking how far is now this point from this point. Nothing but they are asking what is the horizontal range of this. Angle is 30 degrees and u equal to 10. Simple. Okay, no range formula. U equal to 10, theta equal to 30. Calculate. That is the answer. How far it will be away from this point. Okay. Now, right now, yeah, we are now covered all the kind of standard questions asked in the past to both JEE Main as well as NEET. As I am telling now the levels of difficulty of both the JEE Main as well as the NEET will be more or less the same, and therefore I want NEET people also to practice JEE Main questions. I'll tell you about when the level of difficulty is much higher. At that time, I'll also tell you about which questions NEET people can skip, whereas JEE Main people has to try all kinds of difficulties. Okay, with this we will now adjourn for the next session, which I will teach you about other kinds of formulas which you will have to know. That means the non-standard formula I call it as well as some other concepts which are non-standard, which also you must understand. You have to know such kind of a thing, especially with the ground-to-ground projectile, as well as then after covering ground-to-ground, we will go for other topics like horizontal projectile, as well as general 2D motion on a plane. Okay. Therefore, then as I said, go to the PDF file where I have given all the past asked questions both from NEET and JEE Main, and then try to practice. I also have given you a list of questions what you must practice for each kind of topic. Okay, therefore now faithfully do it. As I told you, don't waste time doing the mathematics. Do it once in a while just to give you confidence about having selected the correct option. You should be able to do the actual calculation only once in a while, let us say around 1 in 5 question, 1 in 6 question. Otherwise, just mentally decide about what should be the method of solving the question. Okay. So then that will actually save you your time as well as make you to practice enough number of questions. Good.